So, we're getting closer to League reveal day, and this is obviously early, but I want you to have a look at this because that's what I'm doing right now. We're gonna hop into a map, okay? Like it's only at T13, and we're in standard right now because I wanted to build a character. And Infernal Knives Poison is kind of a hot thing right now, at least for me. I saw it on Rue's stream, and I've seen a version with seismic actually played by Jungrun recently. So I had to try this out on a Pathfinder because I'm obviously interested in this for like to bridge a gap between a starting Pathfinder, you know, like Poisonous Concoction, towards actually playing Poison Seismic Trap Pathfinder. And the in-between there is really annoying, I find. I just like really dislike this. So as I've seen that, I was like super interested as a bridge, not as an actual, you know, endgame character, even though this can be an endgame character. As you can see, like obviously, right? This is an early version. We're talking early progression right here. This is not a hard map, even though actually the damage mods are not that bad. Even though it's not tanky, right? Don't get me wrong, this is not tanky. This dies to unfortunate physical hits. So we're talking super early progression here, like map completion. I don't want to say day 1 or day 2 or something, because it's so different for everybody. And I'm sure you what I mean by dying if we hit this boss here, because this is like one of the bosses that really can kill you. Because I believe it has, like the stomp is physical. So I might just randomly die here, and that's okay. If I don't dodge the jump. I mean, if you don't get hit, it's kind of okay. And sometimes he's like doing this, and then you can just murder him, and that's kind of fine. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna just jump into the next map, even though it's super distracting to me, honestly. That's what I'm doing, and that's one of the things I do early in a league, right? Just spamming maps. You can do them obviously significantly faster, whatever, because the only thing I need right now is map completion in this like phase of the game. And I need, yeah, map completion and XP, right? I mean, this one is like a 91. It doesn't have level 20 gems yet. Stuff like that. Oh, we have like a bit of a tougher enemy here. Maybe we can try this one. Can also kill you. Absolutely can murder you. Especially Tora. Like if you hit Tora, that's like really bad. Stuff like that. But honestly, this feels really good. Like you're just running around with your thermal knives. If you need to keep your flasks up, but they're automated on, you know, at end of flask effect. So that's kind of working. And if you're finding rare enemies like this one, like this one's probably already dead because of Pathfinders. How is it called? Oh, it's somewhere here, like this one here. Right? The nearby enemy poison shotgun thing. Or we have a map boss here. Right, it's probably a bit annoying. So overall the damage isn't insane. Somewhere between 1 and 2 million right now. It depends on how much you hit and not hit. Like PoB is weird a little bit, isn't it? With especially with poison. Like I had to hit 2 times into this pack and they're kind of dying, so you need some trust as well, right? It's a trust build where you need to trust that stuff is actually dying behind you, and ideally, especially if you're actually zooming in and not talking, getting distracted, you're more like hitting the pack once or twice depending on what's in it, and then you're just moving on, and you don't mind if something survives. Like this guy, did he die? He did die. Or this one, like I hit it twice and you just need to move on with your life, right? Don't get hung up on mobs. Okay, let me get out of here. I cannot just play the game and talk at the same time. It's like super confusing. But you have seen what I mean, obviously, to give you some context. We're talking super early map progression, like Atlas progression. For me, like a day 1 kind of situation. For other people, after a week, that's fine. Depending on your experience and how much time you want to invest into this video game. I assume. We have a Pathfinder that is utilizing Infernal Knives. I said that, I've seen that ruetoo do, and also Jungrun do, and a couple of other people on stream already dabbling with it, and that's super interesting, and has a endgame version as well. So we do this. Infernal Knives, it like throws a lot of these blades, and we have returning projectiles with it, so they come back and we potentially double hit, and it's like really fast because of projectile speed, and that's basically the build, to be fair. We also have like a mark of submission with despair, and we get our temporal chains from us, from the gentle touch thing, so it's kind of auto cursing everything. We also have Spellblade, which is why we're using this scepter here, because it has such high physical damage. I cannot point in it, but below the quality, that value is kind of interesting. And this is not a high rolled one, like it's a pretty bad one. Most of the gear is actually, and that's okay. Standard, like Mink's Heart stuff, the Corruption didn't do anything. Leper's Arm is pretty good because you need a shield to shield charge anyway, and it's a really good poison shield. That's pretty good, I like that one. And everything else, I'm just gonna mouse over this so you can see that there's no fancy shenanigans going on. These flasks are kinda good, to be fair. I made them for a different project. It is not topic of today and might have something to do with Poison Seismic, but who knows. This one not, but these are kinda good, to be fair. And yeah, that one's okay as well. In terms of auras, it's probably easier to show you here. You have haste on your... Oh, where is it? Divine Blessing, right? So you need to turn it on and then you're quite faster. With automated flasks, right? I don't have that much like flask uptime right now, but I'm gonna let this run and you can have your own look when do these actually run out without me killing anything. And keep in mind, this is for mapping, map progression, so you're constantly killing stuff. You're not doing shaper or some nonsense. So they last for a while, even without gaining anything. So that's that. Other than that, we have wither totems. They're kind of cool because they put wither out, and on top of that we obviously have this node here, or this one here, so we also apply some wither, and we're attacking quite fast, a lot of projectiles, a lot of hits. While we're here, we obviously gain some flask charges here. Also, by the way, this is not only life flask, right? If you're not that familiar with Pathfinder, like people can get confused on that. And for the magic flasks, which all of the utility ones we have some flask effect, which leads to a quite... Oh, now one of the flasks run out and we die. Or a bit early already. That's fine, but like if the flasks are out, is the wrong one on? Oh, it is. Whatever. Without the flask, we don't have any elemental resistance anymore. Other auras, we have Grace, we have Herald of Agony, Malevolence, and Dreadbanner right now. This is like the mid or early tier version that Rue suggested, just with like really bad gear. So yeah, at least on these guys here. If we look at like short look on the tree, it's not too interesting actually. I link you his POB by the way anyway, or basically the source where you can find his POB. I want to link other people's POBs directly, that's dumb. Yeah, we are Eldritch Battery. We take poison stuff, we have 2 curses, we get some poison chance here. Not too sure what this does. I mean, I know what it does, but I don't think you actually need it. But I have it in for now, feels good. Reservation, life, some stat stuff. These ones are quite interesting actually because they are pierce nodes. You get triple pierce and you get this more projectile speed, which is cool. And kind of makes your, like maybe on the left we see it a little bit. For me it goes actually off screen, right? Because I mean, if you look at these things, I believe how this works is that Infernal Knives has like a duration, right? And if it moves faster, it just goes further until the duration is up. Basically, is that how that works? Not entirely sure. Yeah, until they cannot return. So it's like really far. But that's interesting. So we get the pierce from here. We don't have any chain or anything, right? There's an order for projectiles. You need to be careful. If you get other projectile effects, then yeah, you might brick your build. Yeah, some more stuff, and that's yeah pretty much it. Flask effect down here, and that's it. I have jewel sockets, just no jewels, honestly. So that's still pretty bad. And yeah, that's it. In terms of defenses, obviously we have no resistance until we turn our flasks on, and which is completely overkill right now, so it's not balanced. I don't have any chaos. We don't have armor right now. Right, it's no armor, and it's not that great evasion right now. So, and that's I mean, it's fine because I'm still building it, and as you can see, it just deals fine with maps. I want to have a quick look at the POB actually. If I didn't tell you, you would never have recognized, but I feel like I just talked 10 minutes over POBs, right? Without recording the actual correct screen. That's so dumb. Take 2 on this one. I don't need to tell you, but I'm gonna. Fine. This is the POB export of the character you've just seen, the super scuffed one. So it's a pretty. I don't want to go over it in too much detail. If there's all of this survives patch notes and whatever, I'm going to most likely do something with it and gonna update you on the like very much explaining version. The interesting part here is I'm gonna show you Rue's POB in a moment, but I want to set like a baseline of what you just saw. Again, it's very early progression version, right? It's gonna do what you've seen, not much more. It's just like for quick mapping, getting XP, getting map progression done. So interesting part is this shows like a 1.4 million DPS, which is pretty low, right? But perfectly enough, apparently, to just do red maps, and that is already worth like a 15 better. And this is the configuration. You can change it around however you believe it should be correct. And in terms of skills, I mean we have Wither here. We can guarantee a high Wither pretty often, especially with this one here. And the chance here, and you have so many projectiles, but I don't know. Poison configuration, you can fight me over that all day, or just make up your own mind. How about that? So, interesting part is, so if you look at the damage here, it's like we see 1.4 million, super low. We see kind of low life. We see kind of low evasion, no armor. So that's the point, right? If you get hit, you're gonna die. Sometimes reflected in the physical max set here as well, even though this is set to average. And yeah, the elemental one is probably kind of okay for the moment. So just to, you know, absorb the tankiness here and the full DPS, right? And why is the DPS? That's the other one. Observe, right? You can double check everything here if you want to yourself, but like gem levels, that's the big difference. And these are the uniques if you want to double check without getting the POBs. And these are the rares, right? So, and if you now go over, again, observe, tankiness, DPS, and if you look over this now, to this one, right? So, what's the difference? We immediately see, I mean, people always look at the DPS, so there we go. That's like more than triple. Interesting. Evasion, hugely different. Armor, still gone. Bunch more life, that's fair enough. And overall, like the overall appearance of tankiness is significantly higher. It's like double the tankiness, roughly, probably even more. Especially how it's gonna feel even more like that. And this kind of DPS. Obviously, we have few level highest, like 5 level higher, so we could be fair and like go to the same level. Just cut some life, you're in softcore, right? So, still, in comparatively double tankiness, just fine. And the only difference, also obviously I link you the source of this POB, like Rue's, like, I don't know, Google Doc or whatever, because I'm not going to link his POB directly. That's really dumb. You can double check everything through here, so I don't talk nonsense all the time. But the only difference in terms of skills is a 6 link and level 20 skills. That's it. There's no difference. Other than that, it's exactly the same. So that comes naturally, right? If I just keep running those, I get to level 20 jumps. So, okay, solved. In terms of uniques, these are the same. They're just better uniques, right? They're better versions of it. Obviously, you get that over time, but it's not hard to get decently. Well, like this is 95 here. I think this goes up to 100 or something like that. So it's a pretty good one. That one is pretty good as well. But it's just a little bit better uniques. This one is also pretty good. But that's very solvable in terms of the rares. This is defensive, purely. This is purely defensive. Maybe a little bit of action speed, but okay, fair enough. This one is not. That one is actually quite offensive and makes up a lot of damage, but it's not an insane item. And Anoint itself is also a defensive one, which I believe is like endurance charges. Where is it? Here. It's this one. Like, okay. Okay, there's 8% increased damage per endurance charge. Okay, fair enough. Not too bad either, and a pretty cheap one, right? Isn't it a cheap one? yeah, you can afford that, probably. That's okay to do. And on this one, this is like flask uptime, and he doesn't even have a full flask uptime. It's actually not that bad. It's pretty good actually on the Ruby and the Topaz. They're actually at 100% at this point. Interesting. I would have expected them slightly lower in comparison, but you've seen this is like 55%, 70, 65, and you've seen it earlier. How long this is lasting, right? I mean, you're going to kill some stuff in between the time. So for like progression, perfectly fine. Even better if you this early are getting actually 100% on the important flask already. On these here, we have some 8% damage over time, another 8 at 16, rest is defensive, and this one is completely defensive as well. So, basically, by just not having absolutely trash rares and slightly better uniques, or proper uniques basically, cut out maybe the Watcher Eye is probably the most expensive thing, and the 6-link Dendrobate is probably more expensive than this Watcher's Eye. I don't know, you will see. Yeah. Just doing that, you basically just show a configuration as well, nothing fancy going on. You kind of triple your damage over time and double your defense. And honestly, if I think about it as a bridge for me it's a bridge. Obviously, you can go also into this nonsense here and, you know, let's have a really quick look there, but you can do this research on your own if you feel like it. But like a 99, if you look at this tree, okay, we have like 2 clusters, that's fine, nothing crazy going on. We have Lethal Pride that gives us defensive, I believe. Yeah, the Fizz is fire on a few of them. So nothing crazy there. And no weird jewels that give you other stuff. In terms of skills, we obviously have like Awakened gems here. We have a little bit of alternate quality for Plague Bearer as well. Probably also for Herald of Agony. Yeah, that one is a bit more expensive. I mean, we're talking like super endgame now. We just switched from doing Atlas completion to super endgame, right? But the point is, like, this gets even more tanky and has a reasonable, very reasonable full DPS kind of thing. You can look through this yourself, but I didn't find anything that is completely crazy, right? Even intimidating weapons like this, you can absolutely craft this one. Is it going to be somewhat expensive? Yeah, sure. But you can guarantee the plus all Fizz. Actually, even with the Chaos Damage over Time multiplier, and the last 2 are multi-crafted. The multi-craft is just missing another item for some reason. But yeah, the 6-mod item, it's basically a free mod item that has multi-craft on it. That's totally doable, right? I mean, you can do your own research on these. Probably this amulet is a bit weird. Not entirely sure how you would make it. Might be a bit expensive, but yeah, super endgame build, and there's a balance of terror. Probably the most expensive thing. Sure, but we're talking super endgame here. And that's not the point for right now. But what I'm trying to say with that, even if you're not looking for a bridge to get to a build like I do, right? You could just stick with this, and this might be a really good build and a very fun build, like as a first build of a league, even if you don't go all the way into almost dot cap. For me, it's super interesting because it gives me a bridge between playing Poisonous Concoction, like the pconc thing, and then actually wanting to play Poison Seismic Trap, but the in-between is so weird, because I want Poison Seismic Trap to be really good. That's like one of the parts what I liked about that skill. It's like ridiculously overpowered. And bridging that gap was kind of annoying to me. Not getting the investment and not doing the investment, even if it's kind of dumb because they have better things for less, and that's okay. I just want this to be good. But gathering all that currency on something I didn't really enjoy, yeah, it wasn't really my cup of tea. So that's basically, this might be exactly what I'm looking for, right? You play pconc, then you play this for a while. I mean, I don't know, 3, 5, 7 days. I can play this for 7 days. Like, if I got these defenses and roughly this damage, then I'm totally fine playing that on a league starter for a week or so. I don't care. That's perfectly fine. I can go into like a hyper juiced Poison Seismic Trap dude. I can totally imagine doing that. But yeah, topic for a different video. if I ever get there, I obviously need to still try that and test that and how I want this version then to look like. And then we all need to wait for patch notes anyway. But I'm trying to say, like from the beginning of the video, is like, I find this very interesting and it looks really cool, right? And it's also kind of fun, like just as an end to this video kind of thing. Right, let's have another look at like some random mapping content. I don't know what tier that was, but it's something red. Right, you kind of turn on your haste, you turn on your actual flasks, and then you're like, I don't know, shield charging rather quickly. Then you get hit and almost die. It's okay. And then you're basically 1 or 2 tapping entire packs. You have the explosions. It feels pretty good, right? I'm pretty happy with that. And you can absolutely build that. So, what I'm trying to say is, maybe you're going to have a look during patch note season, during hype season, right? And I bet you this is going to come up. 100%. And also bet you Poison is going to get nerfed. But if this comes up, and hype season, guide season starts, right? You can just like keep this in mind and see or figure out if you actually might want to play this, right? And if it survives, then I'm going to use it, pretty sure, to fuel a somewhat crazy poison seismic chopper. Is there something following me? Maybe there is. I should stop rambling. Just end the video. Maybe I just die at the end of the video, right? Sort of thing. Let's just face tank everything. Okay, I didn't die. I'm sorry. Okay, cool. Bye.